Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. To the sincere Akim and Akwad believers out there. This is the brother Habadia from the GMS Toronto camp coming back at you with another one. And today I was just thinking like how we gotta struggle, we gotta struggle on this side, in order to gain more. You know, we're in captivity. Our oppressors, they rule over us. But Yahweh Shai is that comforter. And I was just, meditating that, obviously every brother's story is different, but, for the most part, Jake is down. We gotta, you know, we're not on top right now. We're at the bottom. And that's just how it has to be sometimes. You know, we gotta go through the struggle. We gotta go through the struggle now in order to gain the kingdom at the end. Because that's what we want. We want the kingdom. We want a crown. We wanna be of the Lord's elect. You know, we don't care about having some type of high title on this side. Because we look towards the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for that. So in order to gain, we got to struggle. At the end of the day, that's probably that's a point. That's a point I'm trying to make. So this is this is Philippians 3:13 in the NLT. No, brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking towards the kingdom. We're looking towards the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. We don't we don't look as this life as the forever. This is not the end all be all. Greater things are gonna come to those who endure until the end. And that's why us of the hopeful elect, that's what we try to do every day. We're just trying to endure. We're just trying to make it to the end, make it onto those chariots, because we're almost there. You could, the finish line is in sight. You think about all the things happening in the world. We are in the time of Yahweh Shai's return. So yeah, we look towards the kingdom. That's where our focus is. I press, verse 14. And this is in the NLT. If I didn't already say, I press on to reach the end of the race and receive a heavenly prize, for which Yahweh through Yahweh Shai Mashiach is calling us. So that's a prize, that's a prize we strive for. While people of the world, they strive to be the man here. They strive to be the man, the one on top. There's nothing wrong with being successful. There's nothing wrong with doing good, as long as it doesn't contradict this truth, as long as it doesn't get in the way of Yahweh Hashem Shai. But majority of the people, They just see what's in front of them, you know. You know, I'm chilling in my car right now, just looking, you know, looking outside, and you know, this is all what people see. You know, they just see what's around them. They don't have the vision of the kingdom, you know, and you know, we we have the whole elect, you know, we're constantly, you know, meditating and thinking about the kingdom, you know, because we you know, this life is horrible. You know, yes, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to wake up every day. It's a blessing to know the truth. You know, the Lord has blessed us in so many other ways. But we know, you know, this is not our rest at the end of the day. You know, we are not at peace. You know, we're not free. You know, we're not free at the end of the day. You know, we you know, we're still subject to payments. You know, we're struggling. You know, struggling in this flesh. You know, because this sinful flesh. So you know, that's why we know we strive to endure. You know, we gotta go through, you know, these many struggles in order to receive that heavenly prize. You know, and that heavenly prize, you know, it comes with you know, it comes with so much benefits. You know, everyone is, everyone is just everyone is just trying to strive for these earthly prizes. You know, the you know the you know, the best apparel, you know, the cars, the jewelry, you know, the big lavish homes, you know, especially when you see on social media, like people, all people do is post what they be doing, you know, trying to, you know, trying to mirror, you know, these, you know, their you know, their favorite idols, you know. But we look toward the kingdom, we look toward our heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai. And that's the thing. That's why, you know, I said, Lord willing, we make it onto those, you know, Lord willing, I make it onto those chariots, you know, and you know, the fellow, you know, the sincere, you know, believers out there, and our apostles and our elders of GMS, you know, that's why, you know, that's why you want to make it onto those chariots, you know, it's the goal, you know, that's our goal, and it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be like it's gonna be like a sweet taste of victory, you know, because right now, right now, the you know it's tough, you know, it's tough, but you know, once you make it to the finish line, you know, this will all be worth it, you know. We'll all look back at our struggles, and you know, and just give, you know, the praise to Yahweh Shem Yashai for being with us, for strengthening us, for, you know, for seeing us through, you know, for seeing us through here with, here, you know, in our you know, here in our time on earth, you know, seeing us through to the end, you know, because we know, you know, things are gonna get bad, things are gonna get worse. James 1:12, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive a crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. So, you know, this is a promise unto us. This is a promise that, you know, you endure these things. The Lord is saying, you know, if you know, you get through, you know, and it's not even get through, because, you know, the Lord the Lord is gonna give his elect, you know, the Lord is gonna make his elect go through things that they will endure, you know, because the elect, you know, are gonna see it through no matter what, you know, because they are of the elect. So that's, you know, that's the elect are gonna endure, you know, and that's why and that's why, you know, us, you know, in this flesh, you know, we have to endure. You know, we have to endure all things, and understand that, you know, Yahweh Shem El Shai is not gonna put us through anything that we can't get through. You know, if we're striving, we're sincere, we're striving to be of the elect. You know, we want nothing more than to receive that crown. But we have to, come to grips with and understand that, in order to receive that crown, our Father is going to test us. He's going to test us in many different great ways, ways that, we can't even fathom. But as long as we're sincere, as long as we, hold our integrity and humble ourselves and truly trust and believe in the power we serve, we'll see it through till the end. We'll see it through to the end because it is promised. It's promised us. Galatians 6 and 9. And let us be not weary in well doings, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So we're gonna reap the benefits. All this struggling, all the ups and downs, we're gonna gain so much more. Well, 2/3 of our people, you know, the 2/3 of our people are through. But some of the 2/3, they're living nice right now. You know, they got it all. You just look at the idols of Jake, these athletes, these these entertainers. They're living good right now. They got it all. You know, they got it all. While we out here struggling. You know, struggling to pay bills, working these jobs that barely pay nothing. Just dealing with family and health. We go through so much now, but we're gonna reap so much more in the end. You know, we're gonna gain so much more in the end. We're gonna and the things that we're gonna gain are forever. You know, it's never gonna go away. The things of this life, they passeth away. These cars we drive, they can't last forever. They constantly need maintenance. These homes constantly get damaged. The clothes on our back, you can't wear them forever. They'll you eventually get tears and holes, or you might outgrow them. Whatever the case may be. But the point is that the stuff, these things in the world, they're it's not forever. That crown is forever. The kingdom is forever. The kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is forever. You know, we're never, we're gonna be at peace forever. You know, forever. Right now, I'm in my mid-30s. You know, and just thinking like, am I just always being good? Never having a care. Being carefree, never having a worry in the world, being perfect like Yahushai. Being able to understand everything, understand all the, understand, have the law, statutes, and commandments, in us, having those super bodies, that's what we're gonna, those are the things we're gonna reap, you know, when in due season, when Yahweh Shai comes, you know, that's what we're looking forward towards, you know. That's what we want. That's all we want. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Start at verse 14. This is in the NLT. We know that Yahweh, who raised the Lord, Yahweh Shai, will also raise us with Yahweh Shai and present us to himself together with you. All of this is for your benefit. And as Yahweh's grace reaches more and more people, there will be great thanksgiving, and Yahweh will receive more and more glory. Yeah, because he deserves all the glory. That is why we never give up. Our bodies are dying. Our spirits are being renewed every day. That's exactly it. These bodies go through pain. Esau has all his chemicals. Esau already done corrupted. Everything you could think of in this world. But our spirits, our spirits are maturing. Our spirits are gaining. Yahweh Shai is working with us. The Rakak Wadash. Every day. Renewing us. Giving us hope, giving us the strength to push forward. For our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yeah, it's a blessing, Like, damn. Because, we be out, we be going through it. Lots of people understand, you know, when the Lord bless you with this truth, it's not easy. Life does not get easy. It's not a cakewalk. It gets rough. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the Lord will bless you with, a good smooth time. Everything's going good. Can't complain. The Lord's blessing you, But in the back of your mind, you be thinking, like, shit's going too smooth right now. You start to worry, you start to panic. And then boom, Lord will just fucking make you go through some shit. There's a lot of ups and downs. This is not for the weak. You got to control yourself. You got to believe. You got to have faith. And understand that all these troubles, all these struggles is just for a moment. Sometimes you have to really sit back and meditate on it, and believe in it, you know and relax and understand. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, because I'll say 2025 was a very the Lord just throwing curveballs and challenges at me. And then fuck, 2026 is like, damn, like, the Lord ain't letting up. He's still giving it to me. But that's because I got things I got to work on, like having more faith, being more patient, you know, understanding this, that for our present troubles are small and won't last very long. And I understand, you know, and that's why every day I pray for more faith, pray for more endurance and patience to just, relax, you know, do the work, serve him, pray unto him, believe in him, and just let Yahweh Shai, deal with the problems. There's only so much you could do, you know? And sometimes I'm an overthinker when it comes to certain matters, and I have to check myself and just, tell myself to at ease, relax. For our present troubles are small and won't last very long, yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone. Like I was saying, like, look around all this shit, looking around all these tall buildings and, The cars and the restaurants, the stores, all this shit's gonna be gone. You know, all this shit's gonna be gone. This ain't gonna look so lavish and nice when Jacob's trouble hits, when them nukes be hitting, because we're in Toronto, and I believe this place is gonna get hit with some nukes, and if not a nuke, damn near Buffalo's right there, New York's right there, all these other states are right there, and the even if a nuke, well, it's not even nukes gonna completely destroy America, and that aftermath, that aftershock, it's gonna affect over here, definitely. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. We can't physically see the kingdom right now. You know, we can't physically see Hawashai right now. We can't physically see these new bodies that the Lord is going to present his elect with. You know, we can't physically see the chariots. Yes, they make their appearance, but to see it, to look at it and see all the details of it, and the you know, we can't see these things right now, but we meditate on it, and we know in due time we will see it, because it's promised. It's promised at the end of the day. Like I did a lesson yesterday, the Lord is not a man that lies. He says it's gonna happen. Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times, and is risen up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So like I said, we're gonna go through it. But as long as we, continue to endure the struggles, continue to have that kingdom mindset, and, and not fall out, not give up, keep pushing. Did I read this already? Acts 14:22, confirming the souls and disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, into the Most High. We got to go through it, you know. You got to continue in the faith, got to keep believing and understand. We got to struggle. We got to struggle now in order to gain more at the end, you know. Struggle now to gain more. And what we're gaining is going to last forever, you know. It's not going to pass away. It's going to be forever. Matthew 20:16, so the last shall be first and the first last, for many be called but few chosen. So you know we ain't shit right now. People look at us as losers, bums, whatever it is, whatever the people's opinion is. But honestly, we don't give a shit about what people think and the opinions of others, you know. But because we understand, we gonna rule next. We got next, you know. So the people could scoff, people could look down at us, talk their shit, you know. Think we're reciting fairy tales. We don't care, because we got next. Jake got next. The elect got next. And we pray, Lord willing, to be chosen. You know, we 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 rather go through it now. You know, in order to gain everything at the end. Like I'm like to be the governing body. You know, to have a hand in judging the world alongside Yahweh Shai, King David. What? You know? Uh you know, ain't gonna be no voting, in the kingdom. Yahweh Shai is gonna rule. What he says goes, you know? And we're gonna be the ones to enforce that rule, to enforce these laws. You know, that's to and to have the ultimate power. Anyone bucks up against that, that's their ass, yo. You know, these are the things we meditate on. These are the things we think about. You know, these are the things that put a smile on our face when we're thinking about it. It's beautiful. Um, so it's like in the AI overview. Let's read a little bit of this. This is Matthew 13:44. Just goes to it. Matthew. Matthew 13:44. This is red letter. This is Yahushua speaking. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto the treasure hid in the field, in which when a man hath found it, he hideth, and for the joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buy that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. And the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast in the sea and gathered up every kind, which when it was full, they drew it to shore and sat down and gathered the good into the vessels, cast cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked among the just. It's the elect. The wicked are going to get judged, but the elect are going to be saved. The Lord will have mercy on his elect. You know, 'cause the kingdoms. The kingdom. The elect. Only the elect. The elect are fusing. Few. Not everyone can be of that elect. You know, so yeah. That's gonna do it for this. The point is, we're gonna struggle. We gotta struggle on this side in order to gain more. At the end, you know, and we can't lose sight of that. We can't get too down on ourselves when the Lord test us. So I like to close out by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing His truth throughout the four corners of the earth. To the sincere believers out there, the Akim and the Akwath out there, throughout the four corners of the earth, the sincere believers. Shalom to you. I pray this lesson was edifying, and until the next one, shalom.